Hello everyone. Wish you a very good morning. I, Dr. Kalpesh Popat, welcome you all for today's webinar on SQLite databases in Android, organized by Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University, Rajkot. Today's speaker, Dr. Ashwin Dobariya, is a doctorate in computer science and having more than 19 years of experience in education field. He is currently working as an associate professor and head at Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University, Rajkot. His areas of interest are image processing and machine vision technology, machine learning, deep learning, and Android. This webinar will cover Introduction to SQLite Database Connectivity in Android with live demo. We'll provide you with an email where you can download your e-certificate. We'll send you the certificate link within 5 working days. In case you have any doubts during the session, kindly write your query in the chat box. We'll try to give answer at the end of the session. Thank you all of you. Over to Dr. Ashwin Dobariya.
Thank you, Kalpesh sir, for a nice introduction. I hope, dear students, my voice is audible to everyone.
Yes, sir, your voice is
Right.
audible.
So, before I start my session, I would like to congratulate all of you and also thank you on behalf of Marwadi University for taking interest and be a part of today's webinar. Friends, I request to all of you that please mention your name and you are from which city in the chat. So I can understand, yeah, our participants are from the various areas. And also mention how many students are aware about the Android. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, so most of the students say yes. Because see, today we are going to discuss a very important topic of Android, that is a database connectivity. And as you know that friends, in any application development, right, database is playing a vital role in the application development. So uh, as I'm reviewing that most of the students are having the knowledge of Android. But okay, those who are learning the Android first time, don't worry, because we'll start the session from the very root levels, right? So even though if you are learning the database connectivity first times, I'm sure that after these sessions, you can start the developing any application with the database in Android, right? Uh, okay, now I'm sharing my screen. I hope screen is visible, KP sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, yes. So friends, these are the three agenda in this today's presentations, and I will try to cover all the topics in a depth level, right, within the time span of 1.5 hours. Uh, so first we'll discuss the introduction of Android within 5 minutes, not much more, because our main focus is on the SQLite database. So initial level 5 minutes will cover what is Android and all. Then we'll discuss about the SQLites. What is the SQLite? That's again within 5-10 minutes, because I will give more focus on the practical aspects only, right? And the third is the live demonstrations of a database connectivity in Android using SQLite. So these are the 3 points today I will cover in my presentations. And friends, for the initial 2 points, we will have a discussions, right? It doesn't mean that I will only explain the topic and you have to listen. So let me start with the not a history but the introductions, why and how the Android comes into the pictures in the markets, right? So before Android came into the market, you all of you aware about that, the revolutions in the mobiles, right? So before few years ago, specifically if we consider before 15 or 18 years ago, it means before 2007, before 2007, people were using very simple mobiles like a Nokia. I think all of you are visualizing in the screen, Nokia. So at that time, there was a limitations of the mobile device, right? uh, People can use only like making a call to other person, receive a call, then we can send as SMS, receive SMS, right? And we can play basic games only like a snakes and ladders. That was very famous game in this kind of mobiles, right? And we were using only a few basic applications like a calendar, calculator, right? So this was the scenario before, you can say, the 20 years ago. But now how the Android changed the entire lifestyle and the usage of the mobile technology. So evolutions in the mobile technology nowadays, we are using a different applications, right, in a mobile, like a movie related entertainment, online learning applications also we are using, travel related, we can book the online ticket, social media specifically, you all are using the social media, WhatsApp, Facebook. And nowadays, say, the Android mobile is not limit only for sending a call, sending a message and receiving a call and calling, but we are using all these applications. And only due to this, the revolutions in the mobile technology. So how it comes into the markets, right? Uh, so nowadays, see, the biggest thing is and very advantage. Suppose I have a Android mobile, right? Even I don't want certain application, then I will not install in my mobile. Suppose you want certain applications in your mobile, then you can. It means nowadays the smart device is totally a customized device, right? That was not possible in the before 15 years. Whatever things came into the device like a snakes and ladder, that only we have to accept before Androids came into the market. But nowadays, see, in the Android technology, if I want to install a WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube, then I can install, right? If I don't want to use it, then do not use it. But still, we can utilize this technology. So, what is the advantage of that? It's a customized, totally a customized uh, device, we can say, and that is due to the Android, right? Uh, Now, as you know that the Android, or you can say the smart device, makes this change in the human life. Before I continue this presentation, I want one answer from you people. uh, who is the founder of Android? Please write your answer in the chat. All of you, please respond me in a chat. Yeah, please, Milind, you can unmute and tell me. Hello, KP sir.
Sir, I have given the controls to them. Now they can unmute and they can reply.
Okay, are they allowed to send the message or?
The message allowed, microphone is also allowed now from their side. So
Okay, okay, okay.
participants, please be interactive so that we can have the interactive session. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. So, dear student, please send your response in a chat. Who is the founder of Android?
Sir, chat is still not available.
Andy Rubin.
Now you please check with the chat also, please.
Yes, yes. Now it is active, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
yes. Yeah, Andy Rubin, Hitesh, Shivam, yes, Utsav, Milin, very good. Right? Jairasi, yes. Actually, Reach, Nick, there are 3 to 4 experts. Uh, they have actually uh, introduced but the main part was developed by the Andy Rubin, right? So Andy Rubin is the father of the Android. Good. Now, so he is the person, founder of Android operating systems. Now let's we move, because as you know that Android is a vast area, right? That we cannot cover within a one and the half hours. Now, before I move to the concept of SQLite database, still few more thing I want about the Android from your side. Can anyone tell me, if someone asks you what is Android, what should be your answer? Please unmute your mic and tell me the answer. Even see, if you give a wrong answer, it is fine, but I want the interactions from you people, right? If someone asks you what is Android, what should be your answer?
It will be operating system.
Very good. It will be a operating system. Yeah. Then how it is different? Because Windows is also a operating system. Then we have to say something additional. Yes, Himanshu Kumar say that Android operating system is a mobile operating system. Very good. Okay, one new point we came to know from Himanshu. It's a mobile operating systems. Very good. Vipul Bambonia say, yeah. See the third points. Now I'm getting the response from the participants. One participant say it is an operating system. Okay, that is one point. Second, it is a mobile operating systems. Okay, one additional point in that. Third, Vipul say it's again an open source operating system. Very nice. Yes. And Sodhandraya, yeah, Android is a Linux-based mobile operating system that primarily run on the smartphones and tablet. Excellent. Yes. The almost he covered the entire part in that. Yes, it is say that it's a user-friendly operating system. Okay, Linux-based operating systems. Good. Here, one point we can add, Linux-based mobile operating systems. Yes, very nice. Now, see, if you want to give a very simple definition, right, about the Android operating, because see, if you know the SQLite database connectivity and someone asks you that what is Android, and if you don't aware about that, it is not good, right? So, Android, we can say Android is a open source operating systems. It is a open source operating systems, and specifically designed, it's a specifically designed for the lightweight device, or you can say it is a smart device, right? So now, can anyone give me the example of a smart device? Generally in our mind, the smart device is only a mobile, right? Other than mobile, smartwatch. Very good. Jairaj Singh. Yes, Mohit said television. Now we are talking about the smart TV also. Yes, TV. Then very good. Tablet. Yes. Calculators. Okay. So smart device, right? So now see, generally Windows, Linux, right? All are operating systems, but that operating system is specifically developed for the desktop PC, laptop, right? But yes, uh, this operating system, Android operating system, is specifically designed for the smart device. And one word generally we are using, that is a lightweight device. Now, what do you mean by lightweight device? Yeah, Subhangi, you have raised your hands if you want to say something. Okay. Lightweight device means what, friends? Can you tell me? Lightweight. The name itself say lightweight means it's not like that the weight is less, right? Again, lightweight means the device which is having a less resource, but we can execute a very higher configurations of kind of applications, right? Like see our mobile. So nowadays we cannot compare mobile with our laptop. Sometimes mobile is having 16 GB RAM and in my laptop is having 8 GB RAMs, right? So now in terms of because now the smart device becomes too much smart, right? But lightweight in terms, again, we cannot configure. Yeah, in terms of CPU processing, yes, right? There is certain limitation in terms of resource, like in a memory, in a processing, right? Even say we cannot install a database server in this, right? Because, but still we are able to execute the database applications. So lightweight means the resource are less, but still we can able to execute the higher configurations of applications. So overall, if we just elaborate the definition of Android is an open source operating system specifically designed for the smart device, lightweight device, right? So that is the overall background I want from your people. Now let me continue with our main topic, that is the concept of SQLite database. Now I want to know from your side how SQLite database is different from other database. uh, can anyone tell me, or you just mention the database application name in a chat? Yeah, friends. Yes, Firebase, very good. SQL, yeah, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, Oracle, very good. MS Access, yeah, all are the database applications, right? NoSQL. And what is the role of these database applications, right? To store the data, manage the data, right? MongoDB, yes, very good. Oracles and all. Here we'll talk. Yes, MySQL, Azure. Yeah, Milin, very good. Right. So, see, friends, uh, but all are very, you can say, the large applications. Now, if we talk about the Oracle, right, it provide a large functionality even also, right? Here, if we compare this SQLite, right? So, SQLite, again, you can see it is a lightweight database. SQLite, again, you consider is a lightweight database, and generally it is used in a smart device, right? So let me just talk about certain important features about the SQLite database. So the very important first point is here within a 5-10 minute I will cover the overview theory part of SQLite. Then we'll move directly to the database connectivity with the practical, because again I will explain this entire demo with one the practicals, right, where we will store the data, retrieve the data, update the data, delete the data, and generally these four functionality we required in most of the applications, right? So I'll try to cover the entire demonstration, because again it takes the much time, but I will try to cover in this within the time limit. So if we talk about the SQLite, right? So SQLite database, again, it is an open source database, right? And the another is, as I told you, that SQLite database is a lightweight. And why it is a lightweight? Because we can install, we can use it in such a device which is having certain limited resource, but then also we can use it, right? So that's why it is a lightweight, and it is a file-based making. So what do you mean by file-based, right? I think all of you aware about the C language, right? File handling. So in C language, generally we store the data in the file systems. Similarly, here the SQLite database store the data in a file, specifically in an XML file, in XML format, in a background, right? And it is generally used in an embedded system. Now see the here word is embedded. Embedded means, again, you consider as a smart device. Nowadays, if we talk about the smart device like the smart AC, smart TV, even whatever home appliances right now we are using at our home, all are the smart device. An embedded system means that is we can say a system, right, which is having its own software installed at the time of manufacturing, right? So now say like a smart AC. which can automatically scan the temperature of the room and adjust the temperature. This kind of smart device we are using nowadays, right? So it's an embedded system, we can say. So this kind of systems generally use the SQLite database, lightweight database. Then Android file system support for application specific relational database using. See, even though it is a file based database, but still it support the relational database, like in relational RDBMS or DBMS concept, where in one database we can create a multiple tables, and multiple tables are interrelated. That is a relational database, and we can execute certain SQL. SQL means structured query language. So here in the SQLite database also we will use only a SQL query, right? One important, I will tell you, to learn the SQLite database, right? The prerequisite is you should aware about certain SQL query. If you know the Oracle and few basic query like how to create a table, how to fetch the record using select query, how to insert the record using insert query, how to update the record using update query, how to delete the record using delete query, right? So if you know these queries, then it is very easy to learn this SQLite database, right? So the same query we will use in this. And this database and the data are private to the application. Now this is for the security purpose. Suppose you are developing one applications, right? Mobile application like online examinations, right? Or you want to develop your own applications where you want to store the data in SQLite for a specific application. So when you create a database using SQLite, so that database file is only associated with that particular applications. It means it is a private. So in our smart device, there are other many applications we have installed. So the other application cannot be able to access the database of the other application, right? So it is a private. So, and one more thing, I don't know whether I think most of the students are aware. Suppose if we consider a PHP and MySQL. So MySQL is a backend database where first we create a separate database and tables, right? Then in PHP, we write the programs, the code, which will make the connectivity between PHP and the MySQLs. Here, in SQLite, the good thing is that no need to create a separate database. Everything related to database, it means to create a database, to create a table, to insert a record, to update a record, to delete a record, everything we have to do it programmatically. Programmatically means we have to write the code, right? So there is no separate database part in the SQLite. Everything we have to create using the program. So the first thing is we have to write each and everything in terms of programs. So that is the overall concept of SQLite. If we discuss a few more important points about the SQLite, then it is a zero configuration database. Zero configuration means no need to configure separate this. Suppose if you want to use a Oracle, right, then you have to set up and configure the Oracle database. Then you have to configure the Oracle database separately, right? Then you can utilize that. But here, everything we have to do in a programming. As we discussed, that it is a single file database, right? It's a one you consider as a XML. So the data will be stored in the XML formats, right? And the last important point, it is a open source. So these are the few important points I want to elaborate before I move to the practical parts, right? So I hope all of you understood the things that I have elaborated till now. Please, before I move to the practical part, all of you mention in the chat uh, any questions, or this is clear, friends. Please give me an answer in yes or no till now. All of you please mention in the chat. Yes, friends. So shall we move to the practical part? Because see, again, the theory part is very depth, friends, right? So, but whatever the things you should aware, right, before I move to the practical that I elaborate. Now, let's we move to the one concepts, how we can create a database in a SQL. Android, that is SQLite database. This is a class. So whenever you do the database connectivity in Android, the first class will be used, that is SQLite database. So remember the name of this class. Only few classes are there. This is one of that, right? So SQLite database, that is the built-in class available in Android. And what we have to do, we have to create one objects, right? In a database connectivity, we have to create the object of this class. So here in these applications, we will create like a DB. So DB is a objects. I hope all of you are aware about the concept of objects and variables, right? Because to learn the database connectivity, at least you should know certain level of the programming knowledge. It may be a C language or any other Python, right? So you should aware about the few concept of these variables and all. So objects. So here first we require one object, and through these DB objects we can able to access certain methods, and that method will help us to insert a record, update a record, and delete. It means to perform all database operations, right? So very important class is SQLite database, right? And here first is the database objects we have created, DB. Now, see friends, if we see the entire flow, right? Again, I have to just explain certain concept of the database, right? Then we'll move. Database, yeah. Suppose I want to develop one ERP for the ERP for one company like a Reliance, right? I want to develop this. Then tell me, how can I store the data in a database for that ERP? Because to move the database part, you should know certain terminology relevant to database also, right? Database, table, row, field, right? And all. So, yeah, please tell me, and you mention your response in a chat, right? I want to store the data of Reliance ERP. It means I want to develop the Reliance ERP software, right? And I want to store the data of Reliance company. How can I create a database? Which are the steps for that? You can consider any, whatever application you know in terms of MS Access, MySQL, or Oracle. What should be the procedure in that? You tell me, right? Which thing you will create first? Or you forget about the Reliance company. Suppose I want to create the applications of online examinations, right? Because all of you are aware about that. Yes, the one, we have to create a table. Very good. Then first create a table with required field. Okay, very good. Then create a table, then insert the value. Now see, right now only three words are common over here: table, and fields. Yes, first I have to create a main database. Yes, Vipul Bambania say that main database. After that I have to create a respective table. Yes, very good. One master table with appropriate name. Rina say yes. That is master table means, I think you consider master means according to the type of data. Create a table of a database. I think, friends, you should know the difference between database and table, right? So whenever you say that you are doing a database connectivity, see, these number of terminology are very important. What is database, what is table, and what is field, and yeah, before field we can say what is records, generally used in a database connectivity. uh, yeah, Arun K, please. Database say, now say, as I gave the example, you want to create the online examination system, right? Suppose I want to develop online examination system. You consider you want to develop an online examination web portal, website, right? Website, all of you. uh, I think online examination, all of you are aware about that, yes. Otherwise, if I take one another example, I think all of you are aware about that. Online shopping portal like Amazon, right? Online shopping portal like, suppose you want to develop this. I think we all are having experience to purchase the online, right? Through Amazon or Snapdeals and all. Suppose you want to develop a similar kind of website. Tell me, which are the different type of data you want to store? Tell me. Yeah, friends, if I want to develop an online shopping portal, right, then what type of data I require to store in my database? Please tell me. Yes, see how you can analyze and how you can think about that. Now say, yes, customer data, say, very good. Then different products, yes, customer, yes, very good. Hello friends, I hope my voice is audible. Yes, yes. I hope my voice is audible, friends. Yes, yes, okay.
Yes, sir. It is.
Now see how you can think about which are the different type of record you want to store in that. So if we start with the Amazon homepage, right, gradually you can think like that. When you start the Amazon homepage, right, then we generally see the list of products. Then the product information is also stored in a database. Then we can say we require one product informations, right? Okay, then after that we generally select the certain products, right? It means out of all these products we are purchased something. It means we require certain purchase related information separately. Then when you finally give an order, then you require the registration also. It means user details, right? So the Amazon also storing the user information. So we can say users information also we require to store, right? Okay, screen is not visible. Okay, sorry. I hope now screen is visible, right? User information is also we require to store, right? Then once we finalize the order, then we have to do a payment. Then payment information is also we have to maintain. So payment also there is one. Then once payment has been done, then it will generate a bill also. If you want to store a separate information for bill, you can say bill, right? Even the Amazon also giving the different discount in a different products. Then you can store the discount related information in a separate tables, right? Then Amazon is having a different vendors, because Amazon is not manufacturing everything, right? Actually the different vendors are there, so they are also maintaining the vendors details. Then we can say vendors, right? And see, once we finally give a order, right, then Amazon also giving the information regarding the tracing of our orders, right? That order has been placed to the warehouse, then warehouse information we can mention separately with the others, right? So even users, we can say users, or we can say customers, right? So if you make whenever you are developing a professional website, right, or an application, then list of things you require to store. Now see, first we are identify which are the different type of information we want to store, and whenever we identify these things, right, and after that we are identifying, suppose we want to store a product information, but which specific information? Then inside product we can say product ID and product name, right? Then product company, then product price, for example, in this way, right? Similarly, if you want to store the purchase information, then we can store like the customer ID. It means customer who purchased these things, right? Then the product ID, which product, right? Then quantity, how many quantity is purchased, everything like that. Customer, what type of information you want to store of customer, like a customer ID, customer name, right? Customer address, city, right? Like this. Then payment related information, like again customer ID, we can say. Then the bill ID, right? Amount like that. Sorry, payment, yes, bill in, we can say like this. Payment means the mode of payment, right? You are like using a credit card, debit card, or any UPI payments, right? Then payment amount, right? See friend, this is not easy, because whenever you are designing a database, you have to do a normalization. But right now I'm giving just an overview about how we can form a database of any application. Before you develop any application, you have to form the database, right? So amount and everything, right? Then discount, so the product ID, then discount percentage, right? Like that. And the discount duration also, suppose 1 month, 1 week, and everything, so that you can mention duration also here. Then vendors, like a vendor ID, vendor name, then the product that they are, all these things. So see here, to design one applications, we have identified the list of information that I want to store first. So here, product, then purchase, customers, payment, bill, everything are the part of table. These are the part of table, you can say, right? And now see, all these informations we want to store as one database. So we consider that this is the entire data we want to store for a specific ERP, and that we can say that is our ERP DB. So database means, we can say that database, it is a group of related tables. This is very simple definitions. Database is generally of a particular applications. And the data, actually, we are not creating a different database, but we are creating one database, and under one database, we are creating the relevant table. See, friends, all these tables are relevant to these database. Here we cannot add any table like a student master, right? Because student master is not relevant to this ERP. If you want to create the ERP of the educational institutes, then the database is different. Like if I talk about any university ERP we want to create, then we want to store the student record, staff record, attendance record, result record, examination record, admission records, sports record, library records, payment record, fees records, right? So all are the tables, but of which database you can say the educational. So in that way, the database means it is a collection of tables, right? And collection of table, you can say it is a relevant tables. And after that, table, what is the table? So table, you can say that is the, you can say, which actually manage the informations. Our all data generally stored in the table, right? And how the table is generally formed, then see the product is one table. So how actually the table is formed? With the help of different field. Here see product ID, product name, all are known as a field, right? So table, you can say it is a collection of field. But again, the definition of table, we can say table is having, suppose if we consider a product. So product means in a Amazon, like a CD is one product, pen drive is another product, hands-free is another product, laptop is another product. So there are many records are there. So one table is a collection of records. And how this record actually form? With the help of field. So if I consider one example, like in a product table, product ID, right? If I just give example like a product. So product is a table. Now in that, if I say 101, so it's a product ID, right? 101 is a product ID. Product name is a pen drive, for example. Then product company, for example, XYZ, we can say anyone. And the product price, for example, 200 rupees. So now see, in a table, generally the record is stored like that. But these record is generally formed with the field. So 101 is a product ID field, pen drive is the product name. Now, if we elaborate the definition in very simple terms, so you can go through the bottom part. First, what is field? So field, we can say field is a small piece of the table. Small piece of the table, right? So that is a field. What is a record? Record means it is a group of fields. What is a table? Table is a group of records. What is database? Database is a group of tables. In that way, you can elaborate these things, right? So here in these applications, right, I will create one database. Under one database, we'll create one table. Under one table, we'll create certain fields and we'll store the records, right? So this is the overall database concept. At least you should aware about that. I hope this thing is clear, friends. Please mention the response in a chat, everyone. This is clear? The database, tables, records, and the fields, right? Again, the database concept is in a very wide concept, right? But this is just an overview about that. What is database, tables, records, and fields, right? Now, let's move to the, so here, first create one database. So we can create with the help of SQLite database class. How we can create, I will show you a practical. This is just a statement. Using these objects, we will take the help of open or create database methods, right? And in that methods, we will mention a database name first, because first we'll create a database. And inside that database, we'll create a table. So in this example, we'll store the student information. So student information is like student roll number, then student name, and student course. These three information, suppose we want to store, right? Then first what we'll do, First, we'll create a database. Then first steps, how we can create a database in Android. So first we'll create the objects of SQLite database, DB, and then DB object will initialize. Actually, this is the meaning of this. The DB object will initialize with the method of open or create database. These all methods are the built-in method. This is again one of the method. We'll discuss more methods. So open or create database method will help you to create a database first. Now, when you create a database, first we have to give the name of the database. Now, again, do not confuse in that database name. This is the database name, and table name. Both are the difference, right? So database name is when we can say only a single name, and there are multiple different tables under one database, right? So first we'll create one stored database. So let's create according to our example, right? So first we'll create a database because we want to manage the student information, right? So my database name is a stud. Sorry. Stud. So how we can create this stud database, right? So in that way, open or create. Why we are mentioning open or create database? Now see here, two words are there: open or create. I'll explain in a practically what is the meaning of that. So stud is the database name. Then here we have to the second parameter we have to mention the mod. Mod will be a private mod. What do you mean by private mod? Means this database or means stud database will be accessed only by this particular application. It will not access by any other application. So it is private for only the native application where it is created, right? That is the meaning. And last is the third. It means right now we are not providing any other options over here, null. So three parameters we have to pass to create the database in a Android, right? Using a SQLite. So first step, this is the first step, friends. How to create a database in the Android SQLite. So create one objects and use the open or create database. Now see friends, I'm explaining the meaning of open or create. This statement we generally mention in the coding part. And when you run the applications, each and every time this statement will execute, right? And see, actually database should be created only first time, not every time. Otherwise your database will be overwrite every time, right? So it will check that if stud database is already available. If it is already available, then it will only open. But if you are creating stud database first time, then it will create. So this is the meaning, right? So if you execute the same application multiple times, right? 2, 3, 5 times, then each and every time it will not create the database, new database, but which will open the database, right? So that is the things. So I hope the first statement is they clear all of you how to create the database. Before I move to create a table, this is clear, friends? Please mention in a chat, all of you, how to create a database. Hello, friends. Yes, very good. All right. Now this code, I'm switch over directly to the practical part. Yes, very good. Now see, friends. Sir, we need to add any dependency? No, right now we are creating only a the database, right? Okay. Now see, I'm directly moving to the practical parts. I've already created because it takes too much time. So I think I hope all of you are aware about that, how to create a new project in Android, right? And how to design these applications. So within a few minutes, I just elaborate the design, how you can design these applications. Now see, friends, here, yes. Now say, when you create a new projects, right, you will see the constraint layout. This is the constraint layout. See friend, this is a totally as actually we are taking directly a database, right? So I hope that I'm considering that and assuming that you know how to design the applications in this. Even I have also uploaded certain videos in my channel. I will share the link also to learn the before basic Android, right? If you are beginner, then you can see and you can learn the Androids. So I will share that information. Even you can search in the YouTube also, Dr. Ashwin or Dobariya, then you can find from YouTube. Here, see friends, to design these applications, I have added three text view control. Sorry, edit text, because we want to add something, right? So edit text available over here, plain text, right? So three text, edit text I have placed over here. One is for roll number, another is for student's name, another is for course. I'm not going in depth for the designing part, friends. I'm assuming that you know that how to place these all controls and set certain attributes over here, right? When you place the control for the designing point of view, and then we have to set the first attribute, that is ID. Even as you know, we can design an Android application using two different way. One is the in a designing mode, another in a XML mode, right? This is the XML mode, right? So if you know the XML tag, you can write these tags, and you can also design the same applications, right? But at the beginners, as a beginners, it is better you use the these widgets and control, drag and drop, and you arrange the control. So one thing you remember, whenever you drag and drop any control, the very first attribute you have to set, that is the ID. So ID is generally used for the coding, right? ID, that is the unique identification name for a particular control. So roll numbers I have placed over here, and I have given the name EDT-RNO. EDT just means edit text control. RNO means which accept the roll number. In that way, you give the conventional name, right? That is the you can say the methods for the professional programming. Do not give the name like okay XYZ ABC PQR that we are giving as a variable name, right? Then this second is EDT name, so edit text name. Then EDT course, right? So EDT. So this is simple like one student registration form where we will store student roll number, name, and course, right? And after that, I have added the four buttons. Buttons are available over here. That is like a command buttons, we can say. Add, update, delete, and view. So whenever user enters, like if you want to add a new records, right, then add roll number, name, course, and press add button. Then this is a list view control, list list view control. I think you are aware about that. There is a combo box control or a spinner control in Android and list view, right? So list view control generally used to display the list of items. So that I have placed. So if we and I have given the name like button. So button means btn add, btn update, btn delete, and btn view, right? So I have given the ID because these I can only write the code in Java based on this ID, right? So that's why one method you have to remember in Android, whenever you design your application and place the widgets or a control on a layout, first you set the ID attributes, right? ID means unique name. And then the list view, list is LST display. So if we count the total number of control or widgets I have placed in my layout, that is 3 edit text, 4 buttons, and 1 list view. It means total 8 controls I have placed in this. Now, as you we generally Now I'm running the applications with the help of this button, right? And see here, uh, it will also show the status over here, building, Gradle building. So Gradle building means, see friend, what is the internal process in the Android? When you run these applications, right, the Dalvik virtual machine, there is the special type of, you can say, the virtual machine specifically designed for Android, which will compile our codes and create a APK file. Now see, it creates a APK file. You consider this is a virtual mobile, but it is a physical mobile. Suppose I want to install any application in my mobile, I require APK file, right? We generally download from the Play Store, right? So what exactly is now Gradle building means, in a background it creating a APK file, then it will install that APK file in my virtual mobiles. After that, it will run that mobile application in the virtual mobile. See, it means whenever you run the Android application, this process every time happen in the background, right? Creating APK, right? Creating a, it means it is a Gradle process, and then install. See, it will, once it is ready, here it will install in my virtual mobiles, then it will run over here. So it takes 1 or 2 minutes time depending on the configuration of your machine, friends, right? Minimum RAM, it require 8 GB, but if you have a 16 GB, you will feel the better performance in that, right? So we have to wait for the executions, right? And still the Gradle, even first time whenever you execute, it takes time. Second time it will run. Now see, all widget devices. Now see here, now the message is changed, install. So now our Gradle makes the APK. Now that is the install process is going on over here, right? And yeah, there is install did not success, could not install, yes, because Nexus. Yeah, let's I just check the configuration. So I have to set dependency also in the older. Yeah, it is a 1.5.1. Just wait for 2 minutes. Sometimes say here we have to change the dependency in a lower version. So in Android, say you have to also, yeah, it require much resources also for the execution purpose. As I told you that 8 GB minimum. If it is more, 16 GB. Otherwise, I have to again restart the Android. Yes, now launching the activity. See, so sometimes you feel like, okay, in previous when I run this, it gives me output, but next time. So this thing will happen, right? Sometimes difficult to solve the errors also, because sometimes version error is also there. See, friend, this is the output of our application. Suppose if I want to see how many records I've already stored, then when I click on view, so two records I already stored, 101 Paresh, and suppose I want to add one more record, 103, for example, Harish, and for example, BCA, right? And if I click on add, which will give me one message, yeah, record saved. And if I click again view, which will refresh my list, right? Similarly, if I want to update, suppose instead of BCA, I want to update this record, or instead of Harish, I want to say Harish Kumar, for example, right? And you write down this, and when you click on update, right, record has been updated. How it is updated? If I click on view, it will change over here. If suppose I want to remove this again, this 102, and if I say delete, right, record has been deleted, and if I say view, which will remove. So basically, how we can write a code to store the data using add, update the record. Generally, in every applications, we are doing these four operations in a database, right? Insert a record, update a record, delete a record, and view a record. So these applications we want to develop, right? So how we can write the code for that, friends? Now let's move one by one. I hope everyone is understood how to design these applications, right? We'll not go much in the designing parts, but 8 controls, 8 widgets I have placed to design this. Now we'll move to the Java file, right? If you know how to write the Android code, right, using a Java, then friend, the first steps, we have to declare the appropriate objects of the relevant widgets, right? Relevant widgets means here we have used 3 different type of widgets or a control, right? One is edit text, 3 edit text we have used, 4 buttons we have used, and 1 list view we have used, right? So it means 3 different types of control we have used. So here one another thing in that, actually friends, I think I don't know whether you're aware about or not, in Android, designing is in a different file, XML file, coding is in a different file, Java, right? It is something like that. Design we are doing in XML, and coding we are using Java, right? Both are a different language. Design, now say in design we have given the name like EDT RNO, right? EDT name, EDT course, right? So that is the control name in the XML. Now in Java is a pure object-oriented programming language, right? So Java, how the Java can access all these control? So you know that Java in Android, Java is having, in Android, if you want to write the code in using Java programming language, then in Android, every control class is available. So what we have to do, if you want to access edit text, all are the edit text, right? Edit text control. So these controls are in XML. So if you want to access these control in using Java programming language, then Java is having the class, right? So Java is having the edit text class. Then what we'll do here in XML, this is known as ID attributes, right? This is the ID attributes. But in Java, what we'll do, this is the class, right? And we will declare the object with a similar name. You can give the another name also, not an issue, right? But for more clarity, if you create the object of the same class with a similar name, right? Similarly, suppose I want to access edit text name control, what I will do, I will create the same another objects in Java like EDT name, right? Then I want to access this course control. in a Java code, then again I will create the EDT course object. So in Java C, here we will say all are the object of edit text class, because in Java we have to do everything in terms of objects, right? And edit text class is already available in the Java. Now suppose here there is a button control. So button name is button add, button update, all these things. So if I want to access this button control in my Java code, then Java is having a button class. What I will do, I will declare the again two objects, btn add and btn update, right? Or btn delete, like that. See friends, so actually here it is in form of control, here it is in form of Java objects. Now, so first steps to write the Java, right? To write the code in Java, first we have to declare the objects of appropriate control. First we need to declare the object of appropriate control. So this is the first steps. Now, very important, this is the first steps of declaration. Objects, steps 1. Declare the objects in Java, right? Very important. How Java objects know that these objects is linked with these control? It means steps 2 is we have to do the mapping between Java objects and XML controls, right? So these are the two steps you have to perform in any code. If you write any application in a Java, in Android, these two things you have to do. First, declaration of all objects, and second is the mapping. Mapping means, say, we will write the code in Java using these objects, right? So suppose edit RNO objects, we want to link with the edit RNO, edit text control, right? Because design is available in XML, coding is available in a Java code. So these two steps we have to do. I hope this concept is clear, friends, and how we can do. So there is an intermediate layer between XML and Java, right? It is known as a r.java file, right? And actually this is intermediator. These r.java knows the reference of Java objects and the reference of all control available in XML, and this r.java file make the link between these two. That is the internal process, friend. We do not worry about that, how it happened. Otherwise, what happened, instead of this, right, you can give the name like XYZ also. There is no issue in that. You can give the object name XYZ, but we have to tell that X objects will link with edit RNO, Y object link with edit name. So we will help in that r.java. So mapping will we will do with the help of r.java. So two steps are very much important when you start the coding in Android, specifically using the Java, right? So I hope, friend, this thing is clear. All of you, please mention in a chat. All of you. Hello. Yes, good. Right now. Yes, now let's start here Java. So, and the first steps I told you that first you declare all the objects. Now say here there is a, you can say, the import part, right? In Java generally we import the package. This is the import part over here. We do not worry about that because Android itself automatically add the import file over here. So here in edit, first we have to declare the object. So edit text, why I have declared 3 objects of edit text? Because in my design I have taken 3 edit text control, and I have also set the ID. So with the similar name I will create. Now see, if you type the here like edit text and space, or like suppose edit text. So edit text is the built-in class, right? And you can declare like X, Y, Z also. In that also you can declare, but do not give this kind of name of a objects. Always give the professional names, right? With the standards. So here I have declared three objects of edit text: EDT roll number, EDT name, EDT course. And these three names are known as a Java objects of which class? Edit text class. Similarly, I want to access all these four buttons in my Java code. Then how can I access using? So for that I require four objects. Here also you can declare X, Y, Z, right? But here I will give the name btn add, btn update, btn delete and all of which class? Button class, right? And then I have also placed one list view control. Then I will declare one another class, that is list view class, and L is the object. You can give any, because see, object name we can give any. So for here first steps is over. Declare the Java objects name according to the list of controls, right? That is the first step. Now if you want to do the database connectivity, one class we have to declare, one class we have to use, that is SQLite database. That is again a database class, and here we will declare the DB, right? So DB is again objects of SQLite database. So if suppose if you write like that, SQLite database, even in a good thing in Android, it always display the pop-up. This is the pop-up list, right? So we do not require to remember the entire words. If you remember only few words of that particular class, you simple write down and select this, and you can declare like a DB1, for example, right? So in that way you can declare first objects of SQL database, right? And so as you know that in Android, in a main activity class, first part is the declaration part. So whatever thing we required in our application, first we have to declare everything, right? So SQL database objects DB we have declared. Now one more thing I have declared over here, adapter, right? Array adapter is the separate topic in Android. I will not go depth in that part because this is the separate topic, adapter. But why the adapter needs in create with the help of database. So this is the channel. So how we can use the adapter? So for that I have declared the adapter objects EDPT. This is again, if you know the how to create the string, right? Let's I just give a one flow, then you can understand. List view actually visible our data. List view will receive the data from adapter. Adapter will receive data from array. You can say string array. And a string array will receive the data from SQLite database, right? So SQLite database we have already created. Then here list view also we have already created. So two objects we required. One is adapter, another is the string array. So that I have declared over here. Again, how to declare, that is again a depth concept. But to declare these things, let's I just write array list. What type of array list you want to create? Like a string, then you mention over here string. Then here you have to give the string array name. Suppose I am giving array 1, for example, then new, then array list, and again what type of string you want to create, right? So string and semicolon. So in that way you can create this, right? So first here I have created the array, string array, you can say. The name of my array is AR, and one is adapter, using the adapter class, right? Array adapter. What type of adapter I want to create? Because I want to show only a string data, so EDPT. So here the declaration part is over in the main activities. See, friend, these things, before we move to the actual part of the operations, I think declaration part is over, right? And Any questions in the declaration part, friends? I think it is clear. Please mention response in a chat. Yes. Now declaration part is over. Second step, very important part. We have to map. Mapping means Java objects we have to map with the XML control, XML widgets, right? But we have given the similar name. XML widget name also we have given like EDT roll number, and Java object also we have given the EDT roll number. Then how we can map it? So very important part is mapping. Now say this main activity, right? You know that when you create a new projects, it show the first activity. What is activity? If you know the Android, then I think you are aware. Activity is nothing but it is a user interface, right? Which always perform a specific task. So here we will perform the task to store the data, to visualize the data of the students. So activity. So there is a built-in activity class. In that first we have to do the declaration part. Then whenever you run these application, friends, then I think if you know the C language, when you run the C programs, then first it called the main function, right? First it called the main function. Similarly, when you run these applications, then in activity, first Android call the onCreate methods, right? And onCreate, again, it's a built-in methods available in the main activity class. So declaration part we have to do before onCreate. Then inside this onCreate method, first we have to do the mapping. And see, this is the mapping. Now, how many statements we have to write of a mapping? It depends on the total number of widgets or a control you have taken. Here we have taken 8 control, 3 edit text, 4 button, 1 list view. So here we need the 8 mapping statement. Now how to do this mapping? Let's say give one example. Suppose I want to map, or we can say link between XML control. This is XML widgets, which is specifically used for designing purpose, and these control we want to access using Java objects. So right, so what is the name of Java objects? Edit text edtrno. So this edtrno, here I have to write like that. Edtrno is a Java objects that I want to map. So here we have to do the typecasting. Typecasting means this edtrno is an object of which can edit text. Now there is a method find view by ID. Find view by ID, that methods will help us to link these Java objects with the XML object. Now how can I fetch with the XML objects? See, I told you that now we are mapping this edtrno with this. So here we will use the help of our Java file, right? So this file is having the reference of this control. It means the mapping is always do via r.java files. Every control ID we have to set. So every ID attribute we have set over here, friends, right? So EDT roll number. So that here you can map r.id. What is the name? Which control you want to map with this? You can say edtrno. Now see, friend. So the meaning of this statement is edtrno is the Java objects that we have mapped with the XML control. Now, by mistake, suppose you have written like that. Now, what is the meaning of that? In Java objects, or suppose not BTN, but by mistake, suppose you have written like that EDT course. Then what is the meaning of that? Here, Java object name is EDT roll number. But at the time of mapping, you have linked the EDT course. It means EDT roll number Java objects is mapping with this. So name is conflict. right? So these things you have to take care while you map this. That's why Java objects name and control ID we are keeping similar, then it will never makes any confusions, right? So that this is the meaning of that. And suppose if I give like this X object name, for example, X. So X is now Java objects, then I can mention like that. X is equal to EDTRNO. What is the meaning? Here, instead of this specific name, I have given X, right? And now X object is linked with this XML. So this also you can do, but do not give XYZ name, because whenever you are developing a professional application, then there are many, like 10 or 15 text box are there. And if you give ABCD, then you forget about, okay, what is the meaning of E? What is the meaning of D? So it is better you give the perfect convention name. This is the known as a perfect, you give with the specific standard. So I hope, friends, the mapping, how we can do, I already do the mapping of all. So I'm not giving much time in that. So how we can map the edit name. So edit name, Java object name, edit text, and r.id.edit name. Similarly, we have mapped the edit course. Then here we have mapped all these edit 3 text box. After that, map the 3 buttons, btn. Now see here, btn add. So that is what type of object? Button. Then btn add, we want to map with the btn add. So in that way, here we have to map all these 6 controls. So mapping part is over here. See, btn view. Sorry, this is again a button, and the list L. Here, if you remember, then list view class, and we have declared the object L. So here I have mentioned L. Now see here, L is the Java objects of which class? List view. But L I am mapping with which control? LST display, and LST display is the ID of this control. So that is the mapping. L is mapped with this. So here this mapping part is over. I hope, friends, 2 very important part is over here: declarations and mapping parts. Right now, the actual work is starting the database. So as I told you that when you run this application, first time it called the on create, right? So on create, when you run these applications, then first we needs to create a database. Then how we can create a database? So as I already explained this, first we need a database, SQL database class objects. Our object name is DB, and that DB we have initialized with the open or create database. This is the methods, right? And here we have to pass the database name. Suppose right now I want to store the student information, then my database name is stud. Again, do not confuse in that. Stud is not a table name. Stud is the database name which can manage the multiple table. And see, if I create again, suppose the same DB is equal to open or create database, then here you write down stud, right? I can give a student also, or std also, whatever name you want to give, right? Then here you have to write the mod, the private mod, and finally the null, right? And semicolon. So in that way you can create a database, right? Similarly, I have already created, so I'm not so database, once you initialize this DB, so see, this statement only create a database. Now under this database we want to create a table, right? And so how we can create a table? So can anyone help me that in this Oracle, how we are creating a table in Oracle? Suppose here we want to create a table with 3 fields, right? We want to create a 3 field like s underscore RNO, s underscore name, and s underscore course. We want to create a student table. Student table. Table name is students. S underscore RNO, that is 1 field. S underscore name, that is 2nd field, and s underscore course, that is 3rd field. Suppose you forget about SQLite. If I want to create a table in Oracle, what is the command for that? So generally in Oracle, I am writing the command like that: create table, table name. Suppose my table name is students, then field name srno. Then in Oracle, if you remember, we are giving the data type like a number 3, then s underscore name. Generally, we are giving a varchar 2, right? And we are giving us the size also, then s underscore course, then varchar 2, and suppose a 15, then bracket and semicolon, right? Here we can set certain primary key and everything. So this generally we are doing in Oracle, right? Now the same statement, how we can write in this, because we want to create this table, right? So here the method is little bit different. To create a database, we will use the open or create database methods. Now, we know that this DB object is linked with this database stood. Now, under this database, we want to create a table. So again, we will use the same database objects DB. And here the third very important method is execute SQL. Whenever you want to execute any SQL query, right, then we will take the help of this method, execute SQL, EXCC SQL, right? Now, here actually in a DB execute SQL, we have to mention the query only, SQL query, right? SQL query. So how we can write it? So here one difference is that generally in a Oracle we are mentioning like that, create table and student only. We are not mentioning this part, create students. Okay, let's I copy these portions here. How we can write the query in SQLite? So in SQLite we have to write create table. It is similar like this, create table. But these three keywords we have to add over here. If not exist, then and then create, because we know that this on create method will be called every time when you run these applications. And if your table has been already created in database, then every time no need to create, otherwise it will be override, right? So these statements say that create table if not exist, if the student table is not exist in a database, then and then you create, otherwise no need, then only open it. Another difference is that create table if not exist, what we have to mention, then table name we have to mention. Here field name like s underscore rno. Here number is not a data type in the Java here in SQLite. So instead of that, here we have to mention integer, because see only the data type will be changed over here. So instead of number, we will mention integer, then s underscore name, and here we will keep varchar only instead of 2. No need to give a size or even. So name, then s underscore course, then you give a varchar, and then bracket over. So this is the string we have to write in a SQLite. This is the string we have to write in the Oracle. That is only a difference. So here, this is the difference, see friends. Here in execute, now we want to execute create table, and this is a string, so we have to mention in a double quote. So create table if not exist, then students into bracket. Here how we can write it. So as I already explained this part, srno, it means srno is a field name, integer only data type we have to keep as per the Java code, right? And varchar here s then varchar. So actually we want to create a student table with these three fields. So these two statements create our main two part. First create the student database, and second statement create the student table inside that. Now after this two statement execution, our table is ready. It means blank table is ready. Now we have to add the records, right? So before I moving to the each and every operation, database operation, any question, any query in that, friends, or it is clear, please mention your response in a chat, friends. Now time is 12:30. Now within like a 15-20 minutes, I will finish all these 4 operations code, because that is again important, right? It's clear, all of you, please mention, because I have to also press the refresh button in between, right? And if you suppose want to learn the basic Android and all, I will share this. You can search in the YouTube videos also. I have put the uploaded also few videos basics, right? In the YouTube you can directly search Dr. Ashwin Dobariya. Okay, so now, yeah, how we can insert this record. So what is the procedures to the user will do? First, he will enter the information like roll number 101, name like XYZ, and course BCA. Then this user will place the add button. Now if you know the Android, then actually we have to write the button listener, click listener, right? Actually we have to write the click event. When user click on this button, at that time we want to store this data in database. So how we can write the click listener, button click listener? That is the concept in the Android, button click listener, right? It is nothing but it is an event. Event means what type of event user will do over here? Button press. So button press means click, right? And when user click on that, then and then we want to store the record. So how to write that click? So those who know the Android, right? Uh, uh, we have to write the button add dot, we can call like that, set on click listener. Then you can write on click new and click listener, right? So when you write like that, here this like button add set on click listener, and inside that there is a on click method. So when user click on add button, which will call this method, and whatever operation you want to do, that code you have to write within this method, right? On in a button add click listener, right? So I already written, so I will remove this part. I'm directly moving to the coding part. How we can insert a record, right? Very interesting part, friends. Okay, now you tell me. Suppose there is a table like this. Now I'm removing this part. Okay. Friends, you tell me there are three fields in my table in Oracle, and I want to write, I want to insert a record like 103, like Ashwin, and course is MCA, for example, right? I want to insert these record. Can anyone help me that how you can write the insert query in Oracle? In Oracle, how we can write the insert query? Tell me. Hello, friends. You can give me answer by unmute your mic. Hello, friends. Okay. Yes. Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So how we can write this query in a Oracle, right? So in Oracle, we can write like insert into table name. What is our table name? Student, right? Then we are using one word, values, right? Then into bracket, which data we want to insert? 103. Then Ashwin. Ashwin is a string. It means we will write the in a single quotation in Oracle, right? The same pattern we have to follow. There is no difference in that. Then MCA, then in a single MCA, right? In that here, and then semicolon, right? This is the things. So this is the query, right? That we generally use in a Oracle. Same query we have to write in this, but the difference is that in Oracle we generally write the data. Data means 101, Ashwin, and MCA directly in a query. Here, our data comes from the control, right? Control means which control? This one, right? RNO this. If let's say just Just 1 second. For the visualization purpose, I am doing these things. You can understand in a better way. That's why, right? Yes. Now see, so in this Oracle, we can write this way. But here, in our case, the user will enter roll number over here, 103. User will enter over here, 103. Ashwin enter over here, and MCA. After that, he will press the add button, right? So how we can convert this query and we can add this control name over here, right? So that query I have to write over here. So before that, let's we just move to the another part. So how we can store that? For that, we require one query, right? Insert query. So here we will declare one string variable q, right? This is for query, right? Q variable. And how we can write insert query? So let's explain over here in this form. String q. So actually this is a query. It is a something like a string only, right? So q is equal to, now here friends, not only in base Android, here we have to make a string in we have to make the query in form of string. Query in form of string, right? And how we can make our query in form of string? Because in a query, few are the keywords. Keywords means that word will remain same. Few information we have to receive from the control. It means we have to concatenate between query and control. Concatenate means combine, right? So इसका मीनिंग क्या है कि एक्चुअली हमको यहाँ पर क्वेरी लिखना है, तो क्वेरी इज जनरली इन अ स्ट्रिंग फॉर्मेट. सो हमको क्वेरी का जो कीवर्ड्स है, जो इट मींस द थिंग्स व्हिच इज कॉमन, दैट plus the things which comes from outside, it means from the control, right? So here you tell me, here insert into student value. So which thing is common and which thing is comes from outside? Outside means from the control. Here you have to decide these things, right? So now you tell me, if I read this query, so insert into students, right? This is our entire string. If I write down double quotation over here, so now it becomes one string. Okay, I think Notepad is better to explain this. Yeah, friends, see. This query we want to create. This is the simple query. Now in a SQL queue, so we want to make a complete string of this query. But when you make a string of a query, q is equal to, right? Two things we have to identify. Remember, friend, and if you understood these things, I think, then you can implement the same method in any programming language. It is very easy in a database connectivity in any language, friends, right? So insert 2 points. Number one, which things remain same, that you have to write as it is. So here say, from insert into student value and this bracket, these things remain same. So I will copy and paste over here. So the things which is remain same, this is our first string. So now it becomes string number one. It means we are making a partition of the query, nothing else. And in partition, we have to identify two things. Number one, which things remain same. It means there is no change in that. And which things we have to retrieve from control, right? So 103, which come from the control. Then what is the name of this control? So the name of this control, how we can identify this control in a Java code? So edt rno dot get text dot toString. This is the method. Those who know the Android coding, they know that how we can fetch the value from the control. Actually, what we want to do, whatever thing 103 written over here, how we can fetch this control. So using that way, edt rno, it's the name of that control, get text is the methods, right? And toString that we are converting. Another thing, friends, here 103 is the number, and this control by default receive in a text format. So here we have to do the parsing also, integer dot parse int into bracket this. When you write this statement, it means we can fetch 103 from the control in this query. So in Oracle, it is very simple. We can write only 103. But whenever in a programming, when we are fetching the data from the control, then here we have to write. Now see, this is the second part of our string, right? So now second part is ready. But remember, this is the dynamic part. Dynamic means control. So do not mention in double quotation. If you mention in double quotation, what will happen? It itself become a string. So do not make in a string. It you keep as it is only. Now this is the string part number 1. This is our data number 103, and both the string we want to concatenate. Concatenate means we have to write plus symbol. So now we have finished up to this 103, right? After that, now say comma and question mark, comma and single quotation, which will remain same. So that you write down over here, comma and single quotation. This thing will remain same, and the thing which is remain same you write down as it is, but as it is and in double quotation. So the things which is remain as it is, that you write down in a double quotation, because it become a string only, right? And this string and the previous part, how we can concatenate? With the help of plus. There you add plus symbol. So now see, we reach over here up to that, right? So this string will now Ashwin. So Ashwin is a data, and that data comes from outside. Outside means our control, right? As student name, right? So this is what is the name of this? edt s name. So edt s name, I think our control name is also this. edt is name, sorry, edt name, right? So how we can fetch the value from that? So we can write edt name dot get text dot toString, right? And here now see, name itself is a string, so no need to convert in the numbers, right? So that we can concat. Now Ashwin will come from this control, so it means we reach up to that. Now this part and previous part, how we can concat? You add plus symbol, so plus symbol is there. Then this is the control that will give the name Ashwin. Now the next part, after Ashwin, now see, single quotation, comma and single quotation, that is again a fix, right? That will remain same. It will not change. So which things remain same? Single quotation, comma and question mark. So single quotation, comma and single quotation, these things remain same. But the thing which is remain same, you write down in double quotation. So you write down in double quotation. Then how we can concat this string with the previous one? Then you add plus symbol over here. It means we reach up to that, right? Now next, MCA. So MCA again comes from where? Outside. So MCA is coming from control course. Then what is the name of this control? edt course. So how we can write over here? edt. See friends, those who know the Android, they know how we can fetch the control. Those who are new, maybe I think you cannot able to understand this thing. But how to concat the string, query string, right? That is very important part in a database connectivity. So edt course dot get text and toString, right? So this will give a MCA. Now this is again the data comes from outside, so do not keep in a double quotation, but simply you concat with the previous part with the plus symbol, right? So now we reach up to this. Now after MCA, see what is the thing which remains same? So single quotation and bracket. So single quotation and bracket you write down as it is, like single quotation and bracket, right? And the things which remain same you write down in a double quotation. So now this string is over, and you may concat with the previous part. So see friends, in Oracle it is very easy to write once, but while you are doing a database connectivity, right, you have to form this query in form of string, and this string is you can say it is a multiple partition. One part which remains same, another part where the data comes from outside. Outside means maybe from variable, maybe from other controls, like that. And if you understood how to concat the query string, I think it is very easy to do the database connectivity in any programming language, friend. But one thing over here, friends, if you make a minor mistakes over here, suppose if you forget only one single quotation from this, it will not execute your query. That's why it is very important to understand how to concat and form the query string. And if you know this part, right, it is very easy for a database connectivity. I have tried to explain this part because this is again it takes a practice also, right? It is not easy, but I hope this part is clear, friends, how we can concat the string and make a query. Please mention your response in a chat, friends, all of you. This is clear, friends, how we can concat the string. Yes, friends. Okay, so now see that is the part. So this string, now see, insert into students value, then first part is over, then plus, second part integer parse int. So whenever you want to store a number type of data, you have to convert in the integer. Then see here, plus double quotation, this is the things, comma and single quote will remain same, so it is written in a double quotations. Then plus, then the name will come from the edit name, then it will remain as it is, then plus, then single quotation and comma single quotation will remain same, so in double quotation you write down, then you add the last course, and after course the single quotation and comma. Here do not mention semicolon of the SQL query. You know that in Oracle every query we write the semicolon, but here no need to write the semicolon after bracket, right? This semicolon is a by default of the Java statement, so no need to mention two semicolon over here. So in that way, insert query we have to store in one string variable, right? And queue. Now the job is very easy, friends. Now our string is ready, insert query is ready. Then how we can execute that insert query? So execution is very easy. With the help of database objects, db object dot, we will call again execute SQL methods, and we will pass this queue means string, then which will run the insert query. And once it execute the insert query, we have to give the message to the user. In Android, I think all of you are aware about that, we can display the message using toast message, right? Get application concept, context, save record has been saved, right? So you give the alert to the users, right? And this is the one part of how to insert the record. Very easy. Database connectivity code is very easy, friends, but the background means how to create database tables. The main part is the creating a query string. This is known as a query string because string is having a multiple part. Few part remain as it is, means static part. Few part is the dynamic part. Dynamic parts always come from the control or from a variable. So that you should aware about how to concatenate the string part and make one complete query string. And that after that you have to call only one method. So here these add data means how to insert the data, that code is over. Very simple. Similarly, if you understood how to insert the query, insert the record, right? Even in Oracle also, suppose even in Oracle, if I want to update, suppose my record like Ashwin, instead of MC, I want to make a BCA, for example, right? Then we are writing the update query like that, update table name student, right? See, first what you can do to before writing the query in SQL, right? You write down a static query, then you can easily understand how to convert in the query string. So update student table name set, then srno, I want to keep as it is 103, then comma s underscore name, I want to keep my name as it is, then s underscore course, that I want to change like BCA. And you know that in Oracle, if you write and execute this query, what will happen without where clause? It will update all the records of the student table. So whenever you write the update query, we always use the where clause, and we generally compare like where roll number is equal to 103. It means the roll number of 103 only I want to update the record. So this is my static query, right? And if you want to write the same query in the SQLite, right, in the Android, then like in an insert query, now these query you have to convert in this form like Q. Q is equal to, right? Now you start from here. Which is the things which remain same? So update, student, stat, roll number, up to this, it will remain same. So you copy and paste over here. Then plus 103, which will come from the control, right? Edit RNO. I'm not writing complete. Now I'm just writing the short for, right? So edit name. So it will come from the control. Then which thing is same? Comma, S name is equal to in single quotation. This remains same. So you write down over here and in a double quotation, and you concat with the plus symbol. Similarly, plus, then Ashwin will come from the control. In that way, whatever exercise we have done in insert, the same exercise you have to do in update. See friends, I am not explaining because time is already 12:50. I want to finish within 10 minutes, right? So here in that way you can concat and create the update query. So here see the same update query for update record, and when the user click on update button, right? So we have to write the update button listener, similar like add button on click. And here one important part over here that before updating here we have to verify whether the record is there or not, right? So how we can know the record is there or not? So for that here we will use the select query, right? So to apply the update, first we'll verify. Suppose in our case, if we update the record like this, 133, but there is no record available of 133 in our table, then what to do? So first what we'll do, we'll fire a select query, select star from table name where roll number is equal to 133. If data is there, then it will fetch the record. And if data is there, then and then we'll update. If there is no data, we'll simply say the message record is not available, right? So how we can fetch the record? So for that we require to fire two SQL query. So one is select query. So for that query one Q1 variable, query two Q2 variables. So query one, what we'll do, select star from student where roll number is equal to, right? And the roll number, whatever entered in this RNO, that will compare over here. So that again, now I think all of you are aware about that, how we can concat the string. And the roll number is a number. That's why we have to convert in a number, integer.parseInt RNO. So what this query will do, select query will fetch the record of a roll number like 133, right? Now friend, another thing here, we want to execute select query, and select query will not execute with the help of execute SQL method. So to execute the SQL query, there is another method, and the another method name is the row data. And here friend, there is a concept of cursor. Cursor is again a separate topic of the database. Those who know the database, right, they know about the cursor. Cursor, if I give a simple meaning of the cursor, cursor is nothing but you consider as a the memory area, right? Memory area. Suppose if we consider in our table, students, suppose there are 100 students records are there, but it is in a table, and cursor, you can say it is a memory area. So I don't want to fetch all 100 record in my memory, but I want to fetch only selected record, right? So how can I select the record? Using select query, right? So suppose if I write the query like select star from table where roll number is 133, then only roll number 133 data will come in my cursor. Like suppose 133 Mahesh, then MCA. So in my table, suppose there are 100 record, but my cursor which having only a one records, right? Or one record or according to the query, right? Suppose if I say select star from student where our roll number, roll number is less than or equal to 10. So roll number less than or equal to 10 means 10 record. So out of 100 in my cursor, it will fetch only 10 record, right? Similarly, that is the concept of cursor. So cursor is a memory area, you can say. So here in that, whatever select query, how we can execute select query. So here we need a cursor, and cursor is again a built-in class. So this is again another important class in a SQLite connectivity, cursor, and our cursor object name is C. And how we can fetch our select query using database objects, and row query is the another method which will execute only a select query, right? So select query, so db.row query, and then whatever query, select query we want to execute, you mention over there, and there is no selection argument. Selection argument means the where, whatever we write in a where clause, that we can mention over here also, but we have already mentioned our where clause in a query itself, so here we can mention null. So cursor will create, and once this row query method execute our select query according to the criteria, if record is available, right, then we will check. C means cursor object dot get count. Get count means if in a memory area, how many record comes from the table. Suppose if there is one record, then get count become 1. Suppose if we give the condition like that, roll number is 133, and suppose there is no record of 133, then our cursor will be blank. At that time count is 0, right? So here we have to check, okay, if get count is greater than 0, it means there is a record fetch in the cursor, and if the record is there, then and then we have to update. And when we want to update, then we have to write the update query in our second variable. So update, how to write the update query, I already explained. I'm not repeat the same part. So update query will stored in another variable Q2. Now update query, how we can execute? So using execute SQL method, right? And then after we'll give the message to the user, record has been updated. But suppose get count is 0, it means there is no record. If there is no record, this condition become false. Then else part we will give the message record not found, so we cannot update it. So while you fire an update query, then you have to verify whether record is there or not. If you understood the code of update, the similar code of the delete, because when you want to remove any record, then first you have to clarify whether that record is available in database or not, right? And if it is there, so we will again check with the similar. Only here we have fired the update query. Instead of update query, we have to fire the delete query. So how we can write the code of delete? So again, when the user click on delete button, right, then see the same code of update. There is no, only one query is changed. Select, first we will verify whether record is available in that we will execute using the cursors. And here we'll say that here, say move to first, or you can mention c dot get count, both are similar, because ultimately we are checking whether record is there in cursor or not, right? And if the record is there, how we can fire delete from table? If you know the SQL query of delete from table name, where which record you want to delete. So that generally we mention over here. If record is deleted, mention record is deleted. Otherwise, we'll give the query over here. So this three button code I have explained: add, update, and delete. Right now, how to view the record, that I'll almost 1 hour, and I think shall we finish within 5 minutes? What you say? I have to continue with view, or friends? Please respond me in a chat. So how to fetch the record and view, right? Till now it is clear, friends, how to add, insert, and update. You have to fire the insert query, right? I will not take your much time. I know that we have almost extended 15-20 minutes, right? And now only one operation is pending, right? So how we can display? So within 5 minutes, I will finish it, friends. Mm, yes, so view. So view means to fetch the record from database, right? And fetching a record, again, we use the select. And when you use the select query, we have to always use the cursor, right? Now see, if I take the example over here, suppose there are 100 records, and if I give the query like that, select star from students, it means 100 record will comes over here, right? 101 Mahesh, 102 like Paresh, BCA, then 103 like Vipul, PGDCA, for example, PGDCA. Similarly, like that, right? So one, if you having a knowledge of C language file handling, there is a file pointer concept. Here, all record comes from table to cursor. Then there is a cursor pointer is there, right? And when the records comes into the cursor, pointer always move to the first record. How we can fetch the second? Then we have to move the cursor pointer to the next record, then next record, then next. Even when you read one record using cursor pointer, after reading it is automatically move to the next one, right? So how we can do it? Let's see the code of view. So in the view part, so BT and view listener we have to write when user click on that. Now see, whenever we click on view, as I told you that first from database, record will fetch from database to array, then from array to adapter, then adapter will link with the list view, right? In that way. So every time we are overwriting the array. So each and every time, first when the user click on view, we will clear the array. So old data will be removed. So fresh data will come to the array. So array dot clear, which will remove the all previous data from the array. Then cursor, right? Because view means we have to fire the select query. You can directly write the query in a row query method, right? No need to declare any query variable, string variable. So cursor C, then database object dot row query, and here we will fire select star from students. It means we want to fetch all the record from tables, right? And the third, it means we don't want to give any where clause, so null. So two parameter we have to pass in the row query. Remember, friends, two method we are using over here. One is execute SQL, another is row query. Execute SQL method is only used for the insert, update, delete, right? And row query method is generally execute the select query. So now cursor is ready. First we'll verify once this query will be executed, then we will check whether record comes into the cursor. If yes, then cursor dot get count is greater than 0. If it is equal 0, it means there is no record in the cursor. And if there is no record in the cursor, we will simply say record not found. But if there is a record, then we will execute a loop, right? Because why we execute a loop? Suppose in this query select star from student, if we consider there are 3 record in our table, then all 3 will comes into our cursor. Now cursor always point to the first record, And what is the field name over here? sRNO, s_name, s_course. And remember, in a cursor, generally in a cursor, we are identifying these field using index. So first field index is 0, second field index is 1, and third field index is 2, right? In that way we can fetch this record. So now our records are available in cursor. Now we want to fetch one by one record. So this is our one record. If I change this color, right? And how we can fetch this using C. So see, this is the important part. And whatever record we fetch, that we want to add in our array. So here array.add methods, and how we can fetch the record from the cursor. So right now our cursor pointer is pointing to which record? First record. So c.getString. c.getString is a function, right? And into bracket 0. Into bracket 0 means right now cursor is pointing to first, and c.getString means out of this entire record, which will give only this data 101. If I write c.getString 1, then it will give only me a Mahesh. If I write c.getString 2, then which will give me a, it means from the cursor we will fetch the field wise record, not from entire record, right? So that how we can write it. So c.getString of 0, which will give only 101. Then I want to leave a space between two fields, then you can concatenate two space. Then c.getString 1, it means it will fetch only a name, and then after that 2, so which will fetch the course, right? So this is the statement which will fetch entire record from the cursor. After that, I want to leave one, means I want to move to the next line. So /n, because these things we are storing in our array, right? And see here while loop. While loop, why we want to execute while loop? Because cursor pointer is pointing to first record. How we can move to the second? How we can move to the third? In that way, right? So in that way, we have to, if you know the cursor of Oracle, then you can understand how we can fetch one by one record using loop. So for that, we have to use c.moveNext. So moveNext method, fetch the record, move to the next. Again, fetch the record, move to the next. And all data first we are storing into our array. Once this while loop is over, it means our array is ready with all this data. Our array is ready with all this data. Now what we have to do? Our array we want to map with the adapter, right? So how we can map our array with adapter? So we have already declared the adapter object ADPT, then new array list. Friends, to understand this statement, you should aware about the adapter code. I'm not going much depth in the adapter right now, but how we can map or link with the array with adapter. So adapter object we already declared. Then here we have to in array adapter get application context means where you want to add this. It means it takes the current reference. Then layout means the format. So the data list will be in a simple format. That is again the fixed format. And last, the mapping. Third parameter, we have to give the mapping. Adapter of which reference. So we want to create an adapter, or we want to map this adapter with this array. And once adapter is ready, right? And this adapter, now adapter is having a data from the array. Array is having data from the cursor, and cursor is having data from the SQL table. And this adapter we will map with the list view control. List view control means L. So L dot set adapter into bracket ADPT objects. So in that way, the data will comes to the list view controls. This is the code of database connectivity and all for operation. So this is from my side, friends. I hope you enjoy these sessions. And now it's time of questionnaire. So over to the students and Kalpesh sir. Kalpesh sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ashwin, sir, for the in-depth session of SQLite database connectivity in Android. Can you please stop share the screen so that I can share
Sure.
my screen
Okay.
and give the details about the upcoming webinars and other details? After that, we will take up the question answers from the
Yeah.
participants. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Just wait. Yeah, now it is visible.
Okay. This is a list of our upcoming webinars. On next Saturday, we have a webinar on digital image processing by Professor Vinod Pal. That will be on 8th of July and at the same time 11 o'clock. After that, we have a data analytics using R by Professor Vivek Gondalia on 22nd July at same time. And after that, we have a data mining webinar by Professor Meghna Bhatt on 29th of July at the same time. These are the courses offered by Faculty of Computer Applications, Marwadi University. We do have UG courses like BCA, BCA Honors with specialization in cloud computing and cybersecurity. BSc IT is there, BSc Data Science is there. And in PG side, we do have MCA, MSc Cybersecurity and Cyber Law as a specialization, and MSc Data Science as a specialization also. These are our social media platforms. Like on Facebook, we are available at Marwadi MCA. On Instagram, we are available at Marwadi_education_FCA. On LinkedIn, our page is at Marwadi FCA. And on YouTube, we are available at FCA Marwadi University. Recording of today's session will be available on this YouTube channel late by tomorrow or maybe by Monday. And you will get a link for the same in our WhatsApp group. Please like and subscribe our social media platforms to have upcoming webinar details. Thank you from my side. Now we will take up the question answer sessions. If you have any queries, you can use your chat window.
Yeah, if anyone, you also.
I have pasted a link for the feedback, so your valuable feedbacks are required for us. Please give the feedbacks.
Any questions, anyone, anything you want to ask regarding the sessions, right? Or you share your views, feedbacks link already shared by Kalpesh sir. You can give your feedbacks. So I think Kalpesh sir, no query. So thank you everyone for your actively participation in the entire. I also really enjoy because even I have not seen the timing also, right? And continuously it's per 2 hours. I think more than 2 hours.
Thank you, all of you. Now we can end up the session. Thank you, Ashwin sir, once again from the entire Faculty of Computer Applications family.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with the students. Thank you, sir.